Hey, you guys, good morning. It is February 2nd, and we are getting this month started. We already sung the first of the month song, so now we're going to see where your energy is. And the first of the month song was yesterday. So we're going to see where your energy is and what we're going to talk about, what we're going to focus on, and what we're doing today. So I hope all is well with you. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you make it to the end, first of all, like the video and yellow hearts if you make it to the end. Reassess. Anyway, you have the right to change your mind. Always understand that you can start somewhere and say, you know what, I feel uncomfortable about this. I do not want to be a part of this. I love you, but I love my energy more, and it feels like this is taken away from my energy. That's the part about creating yourself that we're learning together. You have to create yourself. You have to understand where your limits are, where your boundaries are. You can say, sure, I want to do something, and then turn around and say, you know what? No. I don't want to do this. I don't like the way it makes me feel. And it's okay with changing your mind. You're reassessing things to benefit you, not anyone else. And so that is where we are right now. Before we were in the point to where we just went ahead and went with it. You're working on yourself. Okay, first of all, 3 days in a row, this card has come out in the same energy. You are working on yourself. You guys, don't take these reads for granted. You're working on yourself. Go back to yesterday and the 28th, the 1st, and today is the 2nd. This card came out the same exact place, the same exact way. You guys, I shuffle these cards because I can't go through and let them pop out because they're too big. But you are working on yourself. The 8 of Pentacles says, work hard, hone your skills, and find pleasure in an honest day's work. Find pleasure with reassessing the things and understanding that you have been giving to situations wholeheartedly without expecting to receive the same in return. And therefore, if some and we don't stand up for ourselves. We don't stand up for ourselves because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We don't want to disappoint anyone, or we don't want to admit that our ego is there when it comes to us not wanting to let people down and them feeling like we can't accomplish something. But this is growth here. This is about you, the sun energy. This is about you reassessing the things that you've done in the past, not living in the past, but moving forward and learning from the past, learning the lessons that the past has to offer you because you've been struggling. Oh my God, this is a really good reading. You have been struggling. You've struggled, whether mentally, physically, and financially. You've struggled and tried to follow the people who didn't lead you down the right way. This is you with all the bandages here. That's why you're learning to reassess things. You're learning to reassess and not to follow anymore. And you've always been a leader. So don't get me wrong. It's just in this point of loving someone wholeheartedly. Listen, and not expecting to receive the same yourself, loving. So it's normally giving to others wholeheartedly, but we love and we give. We give our love unconditionally. And for 5 years, here we go. Look, 5 years, 6 years of giving. The 7th year is understanding that you've been patient too long. If it comes out, I'm falling out. But the 8th year is when you decide to get up and start standing up for yourself, working on yourself, and reassessing everything. Because the 7th year is when you start to really think about how long have you been patient. The struggle is there. 5 years you've been struggling to make decisions. But 6 years you've still been given. Even though you're starting to look and see things a little bit differently, the 6 years when you start to realize that you've been giving to these situations and to these people and haven't received not even a thank you. 3 of Pentacles just tried to come out. You won't even get anybody that will be willing to work with you 3 years for as a team. So once you get to this 8th year, once you get to the 7th year, not necessarily the 8th year, and realize how patient you've been, that 3 years of you trying to get people, after that 3 years, you've been trying to get people to be on the same, instead of following them, you guys lead together. That's why the Three of Pentacles just tried to come out, and I probably should have let it, but it didn't fly out my hands. Look, toxic energies like that. The devil, self-destructive patterns, right? So you have been giving in to these self-destructive patterns and struggling in the inside, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and giving in. The devil energy, right, is temptation, seduction, materialism. That has been the energies that's been taken, the takers that are around you. In the reverse, it's lack of will, resentment, feeling resentment if you say, no, I don't want to do this. Not having the freedom to be able to say, you don't feel like this. That's why you're reassessing these energies. Oh my goodness. This is a really good read. Day 2 of you understanding why you're doing this. Life is about creating yourself. Look at this, using your intuition. The high priestess energy is something that can only be understood through experience. You are reassessing based upon the experiences of the past, and you understanding that you've been working on yourself, healing physically, spiritually, mentally, financially. You've been growing and understanding where the issue came in at, not setting any boundaries. And so therefore, justice, consequences of your actions and everybody else's actions are at hand. You've been in conflict way too long and in competition with people that they don't even realize. They see your power, but they're scared of it. And they don't even realize how hard you've struggled with not trying to be there. 2 5s are out here with not wanting to be there for people because they take your kindness for weakness. And therefore you're just like, I can't do this any longer. I can't do this any longer. And as soon as they turn around and say, you know what, I need you to do this, you're like, Queen of Cups, damn it, I can't make this up. Yes, I will. Be someone who makes everyone feel important. Look them through their eyes and make them feel understood. You want everybody to feel important. That's the reason why you don't say no. And that's what you're learning, the difference of setting boundaries for yourself. You're reassessing the things that you have to reassess. It's just, that's what it is. The star energy just tried to pop out. The star says no matter the situation you find yourself in, there is always hope. Have faith. Be optimistic and focus on what? Self-care. That's why you're reassessing these energies, because you've been weak for far too long, and therefore you have to end it. The Tower energy says sometimes you need to tear down the limiting structures you have built for yourself. The structures of people taking, not a real foundation. The structures, the bandages, that you put over these wounds that you've been healed, that you had to heal from the struggle, and keep going, acting like there's no conflict or competition with you, even though in the midst of your sadness, you still have competition and conflict with people, because you are dealing with their shit, the self-destructive patterns that they bring to you, not that you have and bring to the table, that they bring to you. And so therefore the endings, Tower. Sometimes you need to tear down the limiting structures you have built for yourself to move forward, rebuild better, stronger, and wiser. That's where the growth is coming in, and that's where it comes when you are starting to reassess and see things for what they are, and therefore the self-destructive patterns will be removed. The Ace of Pentacles come out this year. When it takes for you to get to, after working on yourself for this full year, the Ace of Pentacles is finding your joy, your happiness, and a new beginning in yourself by you reassessing everything that you've been through in the past. You reassessing and not visiting that. The Knight of Wands, my Drake energy, because you only live once. Be bold. Maybe that's what the number 1 is, the Ace. Be bold, be fearless, do what you love. You understand that? And that is where, that YOLO energy is. And you're reassessing because you realize that you've wasted time and there's no, new ideas coming in your mind because you've reached a plateau of dealing with the people that you've been dealing with. And now you're setting boundaries. The Nine of Wands energy is here. Now you're setting boundaries. You also are making plans to travel, find new directions, and you're setting boundaries. The Nine of Wands energy. So the Nine of Wands energy is, recognizing your strengths and what's causing them to be, like a demolition, like what's causing you to feel like, there is some type of destruction around you, right? And so the Nine of Wands also says, always watch your back, right? Or mark your boundaries, or others will mark them for you. And that's what's been happening, whether you hate to admit it or not. People have been marking boundaries by their self-destructive patterns, and you following them just because you're trying to make them feel successful, because you feel insecure about things right now, because you haven't found that footing and that foundation that you need to have. Look at that card that fell out. Let's see what it is. Yeah, the ego, their ego. And so with their ego, you have, instead of disappointing them, you follow them in a path of destruction until you realize that this is conflict, competition, ego, and because you haven't set boundaries and you've been just struggling with yourself emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And so when you get into a spiritual awakening, you turn around and you understand, because the high priestess energy is here, something that can only be understood through experience, and you're not willing to surrender to an experience or a situation with the hangman energy, because you have grown. And the Queen of Wands, you're in your confident bag. Now all we need is a Chariot to come out, because that's just letting you know you're moving forward with confidence. But the Magician is here. The Magician says, use the knowledge to manifest change. You know what it is. You're reassessing the things and you're changing. Based on the Page of Swords, you're having clarity. A quick, sharp mind is one of your greatest assets. Always be alert, crystal clear, and focus on your perceptions. All you want with the Four of Wands energy being here is peace, happiness, and harmony, and harmonious energy in your life. You don't want anything else. And with the Knight of Cups energy being here, the Knight of Cups says, listen, always follow your heart, because your heart has been hurting, so you didn't even know where to follow or what to do and how to do it. Always follow your heart, because it'll never, and your intuition, because it'll never lead you astray, because it knows things that the mind can't explain. But when you're in the when you're in an energy of self-destructive patterns, egos, conflict, competition, and not understanding why you keep giving to a situation and not experience anything, any type of happiness for yourself, because you're always following somebody else's lead, because you just want your significant other, your friends, your family, and job to be happy with you, and you're looking for not necessarily you're looking for validation, and the validation comes with love. That's what you're looking for right now. That's what you're searching for. But you said, you know what? I have to reassess my situation. I have to reassess it, and I have to look for love within myself and not validation from someone else. And that's the reason why all of these cards are here. And the Ace of Cups is letting you know that the opportunity, the great love, and the joy comes on the side of you reassessing things for yourself and you loving yourself. This insecure energy, this sneaky energy of knowing, and it's the keen mind and having clarity to know what's causing you to feel insecure, sad, and all these other things, is because you're looking for love, friendship, and a connection in all situations that you come into. So you give your all in these situations, and therefore you're not getting anything in return. So you have to take a leap for yourself. You have to have the innocence and be spontaneous and search for the new beginnings, and take a leap when it comes to what you want. The Nine of Cups, going after your dreams, your enjoyment, and your happiness, and therefore not letting people feel like they're backstabbing you and having to end things and feeling like a failure. Because the King of Wands, this came out in my last reading, the King of Wands is here. You're looking for a true leader that leads from the heart and inspires others to do more, dream bigger, and be better, just like you. But you found heartbreak, and therefore out of this heartbreak, you had to seek liberation and find a way out. And therefore, for you to have your Ten of Cups energy, which is you having love, satisfaction, and again being harmonious, you had to reach a plateau with everybody else and reassess the situation in a different light. Does that make sense? So that is where this says, with the Knight of Pentacles, always follow your heart. Excuse me. You can't get the results without first doing the work. Show up, work hard. Eight of Pentacles, and keep pushing every day for yourself. Reassess your situations. Start over. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. Create the joy, happiness, and understanding and being harmonious within yourself and therefore in your life. You have the power to end things with the tower energy. You have the power to see already by using your intuition. You know what it is that you've been giving, and therefore there is still, no matter how much you give, there is always takers, and there's always going to be conflict and competition when it comes to those takers, when their ego gets involved, because they want you to follow them. They don't want you to be happy. They want you to follow them so they could be happy, and therefore causes you destruction and anxiety in the whole energy of it. But you have to realize that the Seven of Cups is, you have options, you have choices, and the universe keeps trying to warn you and make you have and try to see the hope that you have in front of you, but you would rather go through these cycles of pain. But then you get into your Knight of Swords bag and say, I got to be tough and ambitious, know what I want, and go after it in a single-minded determination, and not do anything that's going to cause me stress, anxiety, and to feel hopelessness. The Six of Cups energy is nostalgia, it's romance, and it's love. You have to know that the old memories of the past, they made you who you are today. Using knowledge to manifest change, but holding on to them and expecting them to stay the same is not going to work, because the death energy is here. Listen, embrace change and let go of what no longer serves you. Death is not the end, it's a transformation that brings new beginnings. And that's what you want, to have a realization that you need stability in your life, and you have to conserve things, conserve your energy, conserve and secure the way you do things, and limit the way you give your energy out, in order for you to reassess the situation to see, will I be able to survive without these people? And the answer is yes. The only people that you can count on is the sun, the moon, and the stars, and yourself. And always understand that. I love you guys. Day 2. Please do me a favor, yellow hearts, if you made it to the end. I love you.